No.
Now it sounds. So, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome back to a new portion here in our Shabbat gathering at Light to the Nations. Thank you so much for giving us the heads up about the sound. And as I told you last week, our internet connection here in this place is not the best. So if you see some hiccup or some issues with the connection with the video, especially, just be patient. Most probably it's going to restore automatically because of the settings. It happened last week, if you remember, that there was some kind of bufferings, and one moment the connection was lost, but it was restored automatically. So be patient and keep praying, so everything we're going to do today is going to be protected and blessed by the hand of YaHuWaH. So as I said, before fixing this issue with the audio, is that we hope that all of you have been enjoying your Shabbat so far, a day of rest, a day of restoring our energies, and most importantly, a day to restore our connection with the YaHuWaH. It's a special day, a day that he established from the very beginning, from the day of creation, from the week of creation, a day he has established as a sign, a mark, the mark of YaHuWaH, the sign of YaHuWaH between him and his people. It's a day that we need to store in our heart. It's part of the commandment, it's part of the 10 Commandments. It's something so important and special to him that needs to be so important and special to us as well. As Lillian always tell me, and I agree with her, is that it's a kind of a door that as soon as it's open by keeping Shabbat, it's a door that is inviting us for a closer and even closer, more intimate relationship with YaHuWaH. Is that door that is inviting us to learn about his way even more. So we really hope that this portion is going to be a blessing. We don't know. We don't really even know what we are going to say because we were reading the portion with Lillian before, and it's not an easy one because it's full with the measurements and the offerings that we really don't understand. But we rely on the Ruach of Elohim to guide us in everything. And we also ask YaHuWaH to restore all this inflammation that is affecting Lillian with the allergies to go away, and we are not going to listen any sneeze or any cough today, and maybe you are going to understand her congested voice.
Yes.
Something you want to say?
Even
though they don't understand?
Even though that I'm so happy that it's a Shabbat, because it's so true that everything that when we are arriving to the end of the week, it's like we almost we are missing the energy that we have at the beginning. So it's a cycle, and it's a beautiful cycle, like the day and like the weeks, and every cycle that YaHuWaH has made for us. And it's like the cycle of creation, and it's like the cycle that we have to wait until we can go again and abide under his tent. So I'm waiting for, and I know that you are also waiting for that moment. So a moment of restoration, of peace, of shalom that we are expecting to have in our hearts and in our life completely. And I think that's it, that the beautiful of Shabbat, how it's representing all of that. And that enjoying the Shabbat with him, we are knowing him even more about his heart, about what he has been preparing from the beginning for us. So that's a beautiful promise.
Excellent. And just to reinforce a comment that I saw from you, Corina, and it's true, it's interesting times we are living. According to the Gregorian calendar, the calendar that everybody, the system of this world is following, we're in a new year in 2026. And it's such a way to begin this new cycle of the system of the world with the news that I don't know if everybody is aware of it, but we were somehow shocked. With Lillian. We were getting into the news of today. She didn't want to believe me when I told her about the titles. I had to show her a video so she could look at it by herself. Is about this attack of United States to Venezuela, and this is something that was on the way on preparation for many weeks. But keeping aside all the political discussion and or these political games that's happening, we need to look, as always, especially when we are trying to disconnect ourselves from the world, day-to-day activities. We need to look at it now in Shabbat with the eyes of the Word of YaHuWaH, and what's going on. Not only with this situation now in Venezuela, is what's going on in the world. Is very interesting. I'm beginning the new Gregorian year in this way. I was telling Lillian, could it be that maybe this is a sign on what's coming with this 2026 year? Maybe. It could be. Maybe we are going to see even more things happening in this new cycle, more fulfillments of the word of YaHuWaH, more confirmations, evidences of the days we are living, maybe a speed up of what's happening on the prophetic point of view, on the prophetic timeline. So we need to be very attentive, with our eyes very wide open and seeing with the eyes of YaHuWaH, understanding everything that's going on in the world with the word of YaHuWaH, because we know that the word of YaHuWaH is the truth and is the way that we have the certainty to understand what's happening in this world and in these times. And by understanding what's happening in this world and in these times, it's also a way for us to understand what is our role and what YaHuWaH wants from each one of us, his children, this generation of Israel in these times. Because it's not for us, as we have been talking for so long, it's not for us only to observe and see and prepare. It's also to serve and do. So we need to ask, hey, YaHuWaH, to guide us in what is our role and what he wants from each one of us as we see all these things happening in the world. And there are so many messages that I would like to share with you, and I think in our last visit to some of you were sharing part of this, but what I can share now very briefly is that everything that's going on in the world, even what's happening today, from my point of view, based on the understanding I have received so far, especially in the last year or 2 years, that this is the manifestation, the rising up of the second beast and the first beast of the book of Revelation. Just take a moment and do this research by yourself and look into the technocracy movement. And you will see, just look specifically in the technate of the North. Look in the technocracy movement and the technate of the North, and you will see somehow you will begin connecting dots and how this is connected to the overall end times and the system of the world and the two beasts that are rising up from the earth and also from the sea. And I do believe that this is happening for a while, and what we see now is basically these two beast systems taking power over the world. And most probably, as I said a minute ago, we will see even more the manifestations of this in the coming months. So we need to keep praying all the time. We need to pray for everyone in the family of YaHuWaH, but most importantly, not to be fearful about what's going on, is that we need to be strong and courageous, understanding always from the Ruach of Elohim what the YaHuWaH needs from each one of us. Okay? So let's not be surprised if more things are happening, on the way, because they will happen.
Yeah, maybe for the rest of the world is going to be like, oh, everything is a chaos, everything is out of control. But at the end, what is happening is that every piece of the puzzle is being brought to the right place. So, and we can see that because that is was written in the scripture years ago, and now we are just observing and being witness of the fulfillment of the word of YaHuWaH, that what he said from the beginning is going to be fulfilled. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, having said that, let me share this song with you, and we will go to after that with this complicated portion. We'll see. So, here we go.
נשיר ביחד את השיר הפשוט הזה, נבוא כילדים לפני אבינו שבשמיים, נבקש ממנו עוד. בוא נשיר ביחד אבא. אבא, 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 ילדיך רעבים, ילדיך רעבים. ילדיך רעבים, קרא לנו אבא, קרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ נבוא אליך. קרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ ונבוא. קרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ נבוא אליך. קרא לנו לשולחן, אז נרוץ ונבוא. אבא, 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 ילדיך רעבים, כאן בארץ ילדיך רעבים. אבא, 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 ילדיך רעבים. ילדיך עוד הלילה קרא לנו לשולחן, וקרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ נבוא אליך. קרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ ונבוא. קרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ נבוא אליך. קרא לנו לשולחן, כי אז נרוץ ונבוא. אבא, ילדיך רעבים, אבא אני רעב, ילדיך רעב, אבא אנחנו רעבים אליך. אבא, אבא, ילדיך רעבים, ילדיך רעבים. ערכת לי שולחן בכל הבלגן, ערכת לי שולחן באמצע חיי. אמרת לי בוא שאכול שתה, בוא שאכול ונוער. ערכת לי שולחן בכל הבלגן, ערכת לי שולחן באמצע חיי. אמרת לי בוא שאכול שתה, בוא שאכול ונוער. אבא, ילדיך רעבים, ילדיך רעבים. משה בכל שתי, משה בכל מנועה.
We are hungry of His word. That should be the hunger we always have feel inside of us. So let's take a moment and let's pray together. YaHuWaH Elohim Sebaot, we want to give thanks to you in this set apart day, in your Shabbat, the day you have established from the very beginning, a day, YaHuWaH, that we separate from the rest of the rest of the week, a day where we want to get closer to you, when we want to study your word, a day when we want to invite you even more to visit us and to fill our hearts with your presence. We seek your face every day, O YaHuWaH, and we seek this relationship with you every day. But we acknowledge that in this day, your Shabbat, is a special day, a day where you work miracles in our lives. And the part of those miracles is that you are opening our understanding to your word, and you are guiding our steps in your truth. We thank you, YaHuWaH, because you have given us the means once again to have this virtual gathering, because you have put in our hearts, in all of us, the need to gather ourselves in order to study your word. We thank you, YaHuWaH, because you have done this, all of this. You have done all of this, giving us the opportunity to meet each other, even though that maybe we don't know each other face to face. You have joined us through your Ruach HaKodesh, setting your love in the hearts of your children. Thank you, YaHuWaH, because you are the one setting that desire in our hearts to continue this service, because you are the one guiding our words, and you are setting that need in our heart to seek your face and seek for your understanding. We pray to you in this moment, O YaHuWaH, for wisdom. We pray, O YaHuWaH, that you can speak to us and through us, that your Ruach HaKodesh can speak to us and through us in this moment, because you are the one, the owner of the truth. And Mashiach, Yahushua, is our Rabbi, our Master, our Adon. We ask you, Abba, that you can teach us your ways in this moment. We are all your children, and we are students. We are Talmidim of Mashiach. And with a humble heart, we come to you, YaHuWaH, asking for your wisdom, for your understanding, to give us of your knowledge. We see day after day, YaHuWaH, how this world is going far away from you, how the prophecies of your servants and the prophets are being fulfilled before our own eyes, how the days of Noah, as Yahushua spoke about, are becoming a reality in our days once again. And we see how those days of Noah, even though they are repeating themselves as in the past, they are even worse. They're even worse than before. We see the evil of a man's heart being driven by the spirit of the Nephilim is increasing by the day. But our hope is set in you, YaHuWaH, and in your promises. Understanding that even though that the evil and darkness is increasing, that your light is increasing even more. But we also know and we understand and we accept, YaHuWaH, that we have a responsibility in the increase of your light, because your Son Yahushua revealed to us that we are also the light of this world. And the only way to shine your light is by acting, by serving, by doing, by speaking, by doing all of that. we accept that responsibility, YaHuWaH, because in the same way that the servant of evil are acting in order to increase darkness and evil in this world, we, the children of light, the servant of the true Elohim, also are in need and with the responsibility to act, and even more than the children of darkness, in order to bring your light into this world and to give this world an opportunity to know you, the only true Elohim, the maker of the heavens and the earth. Restored in our hearts, O YaHuWaH, that fire and that passion for your truth and for your way, so we can become like those servants of old, your servants, the prophets, that we can become like the first followers of your son Yahushua in his first coming, who didn't even hesitate to give their own lives to spread your truth and your word and to bring the good news of your kingdom. That's the fire that is needed in this time, O YaHuWaH. And in your wisdom, you decided to give us life to each one of us in these last days, because you trust in each one of us, even though that sometimes we don't trust in ourselves. You trust in each one of us. And if you do so, how can we contradict you? How can we doubt in ourselves? We have to trust in you and in your judgment and in your wisdom. You saw something in each one of us, and we want to honor your decision and your wisdom, of YaHuWaH, but present ourselves before you with a willing heart, with the strength and the courage to tell you, YaHuWaH, that we are here. Here we are. Send us, use us, empowered us, O YaHuWaH, with your Ruach HaKodesh, so we can shine like the sun of righteousness, your son Yahushua, so we can give the opportunity to those in darkness to see your great light, O YaHuWaH, so they can have the same opportunity we once had to come out of darkness and to come into your salvation and to your kingdom. Guide us, O YaHuWaH, in everything we are going to do today. Give us your wisdom and understanding, but most importantly, O YaHuWaH, guide each one of our steps in this life, that in every moment and in every experience and in every day, we can serve you and we can honor your name, so we can become those witnesses wherever we go and whoever we talk, witnesses of your kingdom, that people can see in us something different, and that different can awake them to your truth. Allow us, O YaHuWaH, to fully embrace our identity in you, so we can behave as the children of the kingdom, as your children, imitating you, our Heavenly Father, in the way we talk, in the way we act, in the things we do, in the way we judge, in the way we feel, that we can imitate you, O YaHuWaH, to be as you are. And we know that the image of you, that likeness of you, is Yahushua. He is the true image and likeness of you here on earth. And we ask you, YaHuWaH, that you can allow your Son Yahushua to live in us and through us. Make us grow, O YaHuWaH, His stature, because if we do so, we are going to be ahead with you. We love you, YaHuWaH, with all our hearts, and we expect in you. Our hope is in you. And we know that even though that this world fall apart, even though that we see the fulfillment of your word accelerating in the coming months and days, even though that we see darkness and terrible things coming to the world, because that needs to happen, that we are not going to be afraid, because we know that even though that we go through the valley of the shadow of death, there you are with us, establishing our steps, giving us the strength and the expectation and the hope that we are with you and you are with us, that we have nothing to fear, because if we endure until the end, if we follow the step of Mashiach, even though that the world is falling apart to each one of the sides of our way, if we continue looking up front to our destiny, we are going to get there to your kingdom. And even though that we need to lose our lives, we know that we are going to get it back, because that's your promise through your Son, is everlasting life in your kingdom. So we have nothing to fear, YaHuWaH. Just to fear your name and to have reverence for you, the honor of the life and the honor of everything, because you are the one owning everything. Thank you, YaHuWaH, for this time and for giving us the opportunity to lift up our voices to you. And we ask you that you can receive this prayer as an ascending offering to you before your throne, as a sweet fragrance before you, YaHuWaH. We do it with all our hearts and in humility, recognizing that you, only you, receive all honor, worship, and praises. Thank you, YaHuWaH. We elevate our voices to you in this moment, and we do it in the mighty name of your Son, Yahushua, our Savior and King. Amen.
Amen.
Good. So let me switch screen here. And for those of you joining, just bear in mind that we are in a remote location in the south of our country with not a good internet connection. It's a satellite connection. And even though that sometimes it's good connection, other times it's dropping the connection. So most probably you are going to face some buffering in your end. But be patient, because the connection is restoring time to time. So if you experience buffering, it's because of that. But this should flow and work anyways till we finish the portion today. Okay? So we're going to read the chapter 45 and 46. We have titled this portion, A Contribution to YaHuWaH. And this is exactly what it's all about, I think, this portion. Somehow the chapter 45 is connected to the chapter 48, the last one of this book. And even though that we should read the two of them together in order to receive a more bigger understanding, we are going to stick to the program, and we are going to just read the chapter 45 and 46. And when we tackle the chapter 48, it should be next week. Somehow we are going to do the cross-reference, just to remember what we are going to review today. Okay? So it says the following, beginning in the chapter 45. And when you divide the land by lot into inheritance, offer a contribution to YaHuWaH, a set-apart portion of the land, in length 25,000, long. And though here it says cubits, it's my belief that these rods, and we saw this in the chapter 42, because the measurement that they were using was a rod that was a 6 cubit, basically. So, and actually here is in italic, it means that this was an added word to the translation. So in length 25,000, long, and in width 10,000. This being set apart throughout its border all around. Of this, a square plot is to be for the set apart place, 500 by 500, with 50 cubits around it for an open space. And from this measure, you are to measure 25,000 long and 10,000 wide. And it is to be the set apart place, the most set apart place. It's talking about the temple. This is to be a set apart portion of the land, belonging to the priests, the attendants of the set apart place, who draw near to serve YaHuWaH. And it shall be a place for their houses and set apart ground for the set apart place. And 25,000 in length and 10,000 in width is for the Levites, the attendants of the house, for them for a possession 20 rooms. And give the city as possession 5,000 wide and 25,000 long, beside the contribution of the set apart portion. It belongs to all the house of Israel. And the prince is to have a portion on one side and the other of the set apart contribution, and of the possession of the city, and bordering on the set apart contribution and the possession of the city, on the west side westward, and on the east side eastward, and the length alongside one of the portions from the west border to the east border. Of the land, this is the possession in Israel, and my princes shall no longer oppress my people, and they shall give the land to the house of Israel according to their tribes. So let's keep it there, and maybe we can make some comments about what is it about. And
Yeah.
well, maybe you can comment something.
I'm going to improvise.
You can improvise, as Rob used to say, tap dancing. You can do some tap dancing while I'm going to look for the video.
Because that was...
I think it's somehow a good one.
Yeah. And well, in my case, what called my attention is about the prince, because he said that he's going to be on one, or have one portion on one side and the other of the set apart contribution and of the possession of the city. So for me, it was something beautiful, because it's like the role of Yahushua, because he has, and he's the only one who is going to have the two roles as a king and as a high priest. And somehow he's going to have one house besides the most set apart place, and also beside to the it says to the city. So somehow is talking about also the governmental point of view. So I found it very beautiful. I like why he's going to have two places.
So it's not clear. It's not clear how this is going to be divided, and that's why what I said before we began reading this chapter 45 is that this portion goes along with the chapter 48, where we will see how the land, 47 and 48 actually, the end of the 47 and the most of the chapter 48, when we'll see what's going to be the new division of the land between the tribes. And when we look into the chapter 48 specifically, it's going to be much easier to understand how all of this is going to be distributed. The point here that is important to highlight is that YaHuWaH, as we see in the commandments, he's in this case is demanding a portion, a set apart portion. This didn't happen on the first division of the land. You remember when we were studying Torah that YaHuWaH through Moshe, he gave the instructions about how the land needed to be distributed for the inheritance of the tribes. And that inheritance began with Moshe, with the tribe of Menashe, Reuben, and Gad, if I'm not wrong, that they inherit beyond the Jordan. And the rest of the inheritance came by the hand of YaHuWaH ben Nun. After Moshe died and YaHuWaH took the leadership of the people of Israel, and they began to inherit all the land. What we will see, and this is a beautiful it's a beautiful thing to see, is that the inheritance is going to be in a different total drawing or plot over the piece of land, the inheritance of the land of Israel. And that this has not happened yet. We can be certain that this is exactly what's going to happen at the moment we are going to participate in the second Exodus, and by the hand of another YaHuWaH, in this case YaHuWaH HaMashiach, is the one that is going to lead this distribution of the land in this new plot, in this new drawing, in this new way, that each one of the tribes is going to inherit a different portion. But differently to what happened at the beginning, in this case, YaHuWaH is saying, from the get-go, he's saying, you need to give a contribution of this land to me. And it's going to be in the midst of the land. He didn't ask for that in the first place. Later on he said, actually it is written in the Barim, that we need to go to the place and the city that he is going to put his name on. That's the only thing he mentioned, but he didn't mention about an inheritance. In this case, an inheritance of land, a contribution of the land. In this case, he's saying, I'm giving this to you, everything belongs to me, but out of this, you need to give a contribution to me. And what I found interesting and amazing at the same time is that you remember that the priests and the Levites, they didn't receive any inheritance of land. Basically, their portion was YaHuWaH, and it's a beautiful portion. But what they receive is that they receive cities, and I think we spoke about that last week. They receive cities, and actually an open space of land outside the cities for them to put the cattle, the animals, and so on. And the priests, they were rotating, in this rota that they were serving in the temple 1 week per year, and sometimes they were having a second week. But they were going from the places that were living among the tribes of Israel, together with the Levites, and they were going to Jerusalem, to the temple, to serve for that week. And they were fully dedicated on that place during that period of time, and then they were going back to their houses, their places, those cities they receive among the inheritance of the tribes of the children of Israel. What YaHuWaH is doing now for the future is going to be totally different. In this big portion of land, in the midst of the land of Israel, he's establishing the set-apart contribution. In the midst of it is going to be the temple, and this set-apart contribution is where the priests are going to live. They're not going to be spread all over the places as in the past. They are going to be fully concentrated, living closer to the presence of YaHuWaH and closer to YaHuWaH. And it comes to my heart, maybe the Ruach reminded me, it's about the talents. YaHuWaH was speaking about the parable of the talents. There is going to be a reward for each one of us. And if I can put it in this way, I do believe that, the closer we are to Mashiach, the closer we are to his presence, that means is that the reward is even greater. So could it be that, most probably the biggest reward is to get closer or to live close to him? That doesn't mean that we are not going to receive a reward. We are going to receive a reward if we are part of, the second Exodus, if we are part of the regathering of the tribes. Because even though that maybe we are not in that piece of land, and maybe we are far away in the north in the land of Dan, or far away in the south in the land of God, I think, we are going to be part of the regathering. And we are going to be time to time to the temple in order to present our offerings and to get closer to Mashiach. But just put in your mind and in your heart what an amazing reward, an amazing inheritance to be part of those that are going to live all the time closer to the temple and closer to the presence of YaHuWaH embodied in Mashiach itself. So I think, just the only fact that this YaHuWaH is giving this revelation to Ezekiel about how things are going to be portrayed at the end is so beautiful, because he's establishing places for the priests, he's establishing places for the Levites, he's establishing a place for the city. What we see in Jerusalem today is a big mess, as they say in Hebrew, is a balagan gadol. This is a huge mess. That's the meaning, a balagan gadol, because we see the old city of Jerusalem with so many idolatry all over the places. We see the city that was, growing over the years. We see the old city that, is combining all this culture, multicultural and multi-religion things. And according to them, in the middle of that, the Temple Mount is what they're supposed to have as the place of the temple. What YaHuWaH is revealing here is about a different order. And I think we talked about that a few weeks ago. YaHuWaH is an Elohim of order. YaHuWaH is an Elohim that he respects the spaces. YaHuWaH is an Elohim that he likes to do things in an orderly manner. The example that I brought about 2 weeks ago is about illegal immigration. He's establishing borders and he's inviting time to time, but in an orderly way. In this case, he's saying, no more. This is going to be in order. All this piece of land is going to be set apart. And what it means, that if we want to get into that place, we need to be set apart. We need to be set apart. And I just cannot imagine how much harmony is going to be in this place. It's like the temple that was having different places. It was like a concentric layers. It was a concentric circle, and we talk about that as well. You have the outer space, then you go in an inner circle, and then to the most set apart place. Here is something very similar. It's a big contribution of land that is going to be set apart portion of land for him. And then it's going to the inner one, and then it's going to the inner one that is the temple. And inside the temple is going to even a more concentric and a specific place where his presence is going to dwell. So once again, YaHuWaH is showing us the way he thinks. And it should be an example for all of us in the way that we need to conduct our lives. The meaning of being set apart, just in this portion, he's showing us what it means to set apart something. And he is setting apart this piece of land and asking for this contribution. We should think on what it means to our lives. We are part of the dust of the soil. We are a piece of land as well. Are we becoming a contribution to YaHuWaH in this piece of land? Are we being set apart for him in this contribution of land? What it means to be set apart in this land for him? Are we working in an orderly manner? Are we putting into order this piece of land? In the past, we talk a lot about something that YaHuWaH put in our hearts, and I think many of his children in this generation, that we need to put our house in order. I think it's exactly the same thing. Let's change the word house for land. Are we putting this land, this portion of land, speaking about the body, speaking about our life, in order to work in harmony to what it means to be set apart according to the parameters of YaHuWaH. Something we need to think about it. So here is talking about a place for the priests, a place for the Levites that are not going to be spread among the tribes, a place for the city. Again, not everything mixed up and messed up. No, he's keeping the boundaries to what is dedicated for him, what is for the rest of the people, what is for this part of people, and what is for the prince.
When you were talking about that, it was so funny because I was thinking when we were reading about that he was going to give us, or he was going to give to Israel the land, but he's requiring of them that they can also contribute with some part for the most set apart place and also for the city. And then I was thinking about, it's like when we are going to be at one point, we are going to be resurrected again in a different body with a different I don't know, composition and everything and perfect, that he's going to require somehow. Like, and I was thinking, give me your heart, give me your thoughts, give me but not in a way that he's pushing us to do it. It's going to be because we want to do it, because we want to give our heart and our minds and our everything to him, like a kind of retribution because of everything that he has done for us. And it's going to be something so beautiful that everybody can participate in that contribution. And then when that is going to be together, is going to feel, I think that we are going to feel something so amazing and overwhelming that is going to be the pure love and shalom that he wants to provide us. So yeah, almost the same. It was funny because then you were started thinking about that too.
Good. So, we see also a place for the prince. If we remembered, when David took control over the city of Jebus and he called it Jerusalem or Jerusalem, he established the city. That's why it was called the city of David, the city of David. And from that place is where Jerusalem began to grow with time. And then close to that place is there where the place that he shows, if you remember all this situation with the census he took, and the messenger of YaHuWaH bringing this huge plague over the people because of the census that David took on the people. And it was in the top of the mountain where at the end he bought this place, and it was the place that the temple was built later on. Was at a specific place, place for the temple, but the city close by. And in the city was also the palace of the king. Here we see, everything put into order. A place of the temple, place for the priests, place for the Levites, another place for the city, and a different place for the king, prince. For the prince. So, and all of that in the contribution for YaHuWaH. So
just to add, and it's so nice because he said that at the one side is going to be next to the temple, and the other side next to the city. So somehow he's doing both role and like embracing everything, like protecting. Yes. And
what also for me is beautiful to see is that even YaHuWaH is the one granting and giving this land as a reward because of the covenant he made with Abraham. He said, I'm going to give this land as an inheritance to you and to your seed. We need to recognize and remember that the YaHuWaH is the owner of everything. The earth belongs to him. So for YaHuWaH could be so easily to say, all this piece of land is for you, but not this one. I'm taking this one from you. No, he's not doing it like that. He likes that we join and we participate in the process. He's asking. Can you imagine that? The humility of his heart? Asking us to give a contribution to him from the inheritance I'm giving to you. It's like, I'm going to give you this glass of water. It belongs to you.
But
you need to give me a sip of it. Give a contribution. And at the end is giving to you the ability, the empowerment to decide, I'm going to do it or not. And I think that's a way, and we see it from the very beginning, from the Garden of Eden, is that I don't know how to explain it, but somehow it's a way that YaHuWaH is using in order to reveal what is in our hearts. Because we can easily say, I'm going to take this glass of water. Thank you. You are giving me this water. I'm so thirsty. And you're asking, give a contribution. It's up to you, but give a contribution. Maybe I'm going to reveal in my heart, no, I'm selfish. I'm going to take it all for myself. So at the end, we are showing what's truly in our hearts. What are the motives that are moving us in our lives? If we show compassion and we understand what is our place, and we understand that even this water doesn't belong to me because it belongs to the maker of the heavens and the earth, I'm going to be humble enough in order to be grateful. Thank you for giving me this water. It comes from you. I'm giving what you're giving to me and giving it back to you. So that happened in the Garden of Eden. It's happening again. We see it at the end. It's that YaHuWaH wants to interact with us. So we can allow his ruach and his life to flourish, to put it in some way, through us. So in that way, we are going to show first ourselves. We're going to show him in second place, and maybe we're going to show to the people around us that we are echad, we are one with him, understanding that everything belongs to him. And even though that he's given us something doesn't belong to us, we are just managing what belongs to the master. Okay? So let's continue in the verse 9. Thus said the Master YaHuWaH, enough, you princes of Israel, put away violence and plundering, and do right ruling and righteousness, and stop your eviction of my people, declares the Master YaHuWaH. Have right scales and a right ephah and a right bath. Let the ephah and the bath be of the same measure, so that the bath contains 1/10 of a homer, and the ephah 1/10 of a homer. Let their measure be according to the homer, and the shekel is 20 gerahs. Your mina is 20 shekels, 25 shekels, 15 shekels. This is the contribution which you present. And let's just make few comments from the verse 9 to verse 12. If you remember, actually, I think in other books of the prophets, and also when we did the study of the Book of Kings, we saw situations where they were lying to the people. The merchants, they were using different measurements. So at the end, they were robbing people out of their properties.
And you can see that even today. So
we could say is in human nature. Then let's be more accurate. Is the sin in the flesh. That is, some people is much more difficult to avoid this type of mistakes and sin. To lie to the people. So basically here we see somehow a reinforcement by the word of Ezekiel that even the princes, the heads of the people, the kings of Israel, they were committing this mistake. Is that they were misleading people, and they were taking things from people that it shouldn't be in that way by using wrong measurements. So the first thing that YaHuWaH is saying, not anymore. Do what is right. And with that statement, he's saying it all. But basically, by keeping his Torah, and the heart of the matter of his Torah, the reason of the Torah, is to establish what is right, to establish righteousness. So in that way, we are going to be able to understand what is wrong and what is good. As we were seeing a few weeks ago, that we are going to be able to differentiate between what is clean and what is unclean, between what is set apart from what is profane, what is good from what is evil. So it's our guidance in written form. And that's why, now it should be much easier for us, because in this new covenant, he said, I'm going to give you a new spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. And in the words of Mashiach, the Ruach, the helper, is going to be the one that is going to remind to us his own words. And what were the words of Mashiach? He spoke Torah. He spoke about the true way of YaHuWaH. He spoke about what was the real meaning of Torah and what was the more profound reason of Torah. So we have the written word, and also we have the Ruach of Elohim to remind us on what's the true way, what is righteousness, what is good. And I think, it's been part of our journey, is that the Ruach of Elohim has been convicting us in our hearts in order to teach us even more day after day of his ways. Maybe we were doing something wrong in the past. Now that we have learned, as it is written in the Brit Hadashah, by the words of John in one of his letters, we cannot sin anymore. We cannot make those mistakes anymore, because we know that those things are wrong. And there is something working inside of us, and that's the Ruach of Elohim working in our hearts, that is stopping us of falling into the same mistakes. So when he's saying to the princes of Israel here, put away violence and plundering, is basically he's reinforcing this message. As soon as we open our eyes and open our hearts and our spirit to his truth, there's no way back. For sure, if we fall into the trap of the enemy, we can go back. But we are keeping ourselves strong in the way of YaHuWaH, it's impossible to go back, because we are sensing and feeling the Ruach of Elohim telling us, you should not do this. This is a mistake. You are going to transgress against the Elohim of the heaven and the earth. And if we are so close to him, it's impossible for us to make those mistakes. So he's putting things in order. It says in the verse 13, this is the contribution which you present. You shall give 1/6 of an ephah from a homer of wheat, and 1/6 of an ephah from a homer of barley. And the law concerning oil, the bath of oil, is 1/10 of a bath from a kor. A kor is a homer of 10 baths, for 10 baths are a homer. And 1 lamb from a flock, from 200, from the watered pastures of Israel, for grain offerings, and for an ascending offering, and for peace offerings to make atonement for them, declares the Master, YaHuWaH. All the people of the land are to give this contribution to the prince in Israel. So, you were making some comments here. No?
When I was reading this, what was I found, it was a kind of a parallel, since it's easy when you're reading it, on the different, the contribution that we need to do. And it's talking about the grains, the wheat and the barley, even though that is going to be the same amount, because it's talking about the volume. We know that barley have a different weight. It's not as heavy as the wheat. But then he's talking about the offerings, and he's saying the grain offerings, so we know that is the wheat and the barley, and he's talking about the ascending offering and the 15th. So we know the ascending offering is somehow the lamb, because the meat was the one that it was being put as an ascending also. And when he's talking about the peace offering, and then I was asking you about what is the meaning of the oil, because, and you were telling me, I know that we know that, but sometimes we forget. And it's like the Ruach of YaHuWaH, is the anointing that we are getting from his Ruach. And then I made this connection about the peace offering, and that's something so beautiful, because through his Ruach, it's true that we are getting that peace somehow. Every time that we are doing offerings, we are receiving even more. Even though we are doing some offerings, maybe in grain, maybe with the animals, with the oils, with the things that we have, is when we are given something, we are feeling that we are receiving even more. And maybe not physically, maybe it's going to be physically, but what we feel in our hearts. And I think that is a blessing that we can feel directly from YaHuWaH. That when we have those moments, that when we can share, and when Yahushua was saying, help to the poor, give to the poor, to the stranger and everything, it's not because he is only keeping in balance and that everybody can be in a good situation. I think that that's maybe a good reason, but it's because the person who is giving something is the one who is going to receive more benefits from everything. It's like you are going to have that shalom, that feeling of, I don't know, wholeness, or be like even more close to YaHuWaH, and realizing how many blessings you are receiving each day. So I was thinking about that, and about the one lamb among the 200. I think that it's something beautiful, because that means that we are going to be very blessed by him somehow.
Just so comment from Karen, let me comment on this. She's saying, anyone else feel like we are missing something deeper with understanding the weights and measurements? Absolutely. I think not only on the measurements, Karen, I think the meaning of each one of the offerings, the difference between the different type of animals. I think all of that have a more profound, more deeper understanding that I hope in one moment we're able to see and to receive the revelation. I think each one of those measurements, each one of the offerings, the timings as well of the offering has a more deeper understanding on this rhythm that YaHuWaH has established on the rhythm of creation. And I think all of that has a more profound meaning, absolutely. And we need to pray for that understanding. Maybe those are the secrets of the Ruach we need to receive in order to to enhance and to improve the connection, our relationship with him and with his Ruach. We were talking about this contribution for the prince. And I remembered what is written in the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 8, when Israel demanded for a king. And I think this is very interesting, because somehow it's not that YaHuWaH is reversing things, but he's limiting things to the king. And what I'm talking about, it says in the chapter 8 of 1 Samuel, verse 10, and Shmuel spoke all the words of YaHuWaH to the people who asked him for a sovereign, and said, this is the ruling of the sovereign who does reign over you. He shall take your sons and appoint them for his own chariots, and to be his horsemen, and they shall run before his chariots, and appoint commanders over his thousands and commanders over his 50s, or to plow his ground and reap his harvest, or to make his weapons and equipment for his chariots. And your daughters he's going to take to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. And the best of your fields and your vineyards and your olive trees he's going to take and give them to his servants. And a tenth of your grain and your vintage he's going to take and give it to his officers and servants. And your male servants and your female servants are your best young men and your donkeys he's going to take and use for his own work. A tenth of your sheep he is going to take, and you are to be his servants. And you shall cry out in that day because of your sovereign whom you have chosen for yourselves, but YaHuWaH is not going to answer you in that day. So somehow this is a kind of an open letter that the sovereign, the king, the prince, the head, he's going to be empowered to do all of this, to take the best of the people. And he, in this word is limiting part of it. We read in the verse 15, a 10 of your grain and your vintage is going to take people, a 10 of your sheep.
It's like giving us heads up about what the king could do.
Yeah, so it's taking everything. But what we see in Ezekiel, talking about the future, 45, YaHuWaH is establishing a specific contribution. So it looks like, okay, the king is going to have a contribution for the people, but this is no more. So it's not going to be an open door for abuse. And most probably this is exactly what happened in the past. It was abuse.
And it's not for personal use. It's because of the atonement for ourselves. So that's the beauty of everything, that the prince is going to do it because it's not for him, it's for ourselves. He's going to do it in our behalf. So
yeah, all the people of the land are to give this contribution to the prince of Israel. And why is that? It's exactly what you're saying, because what is written now in the beginning of the verse 17, it says, and on the prince are the ascending offerings and the grain offerings and drink offerings at the festival, the new months, the Shabbats, in all the appointed times of the house of Israel. He is to prepare the sin offering and the grain offering and the ascending offering and the peace offerings to make atonement for the house of Israel. So it's going to be the responsibility of the prince. Just put this picture in your mind. It's going to be the responsibility of YaHuWaH. YaHuWaH is going to be the one bringing these offerings. So, and again, we see the same cycle working. YaHuWaH giving blessings to the people, YaHuWaH asking the people to contribute, and as part of the contribution is the way that we are going to serve him. So it's like a natural cycle of things that, everything is coming from the same source. But this same source is allowing this beautiful and let's keep it beautiful cycle to work in a perfect rhythm, in a perfect melody. Okay, so that said the Master YaHuWaH, in the first month, on the first of the month, you are to take a young bull, a perfect one, and shall cleanse the set apart place. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering and put it on the doorpost of the house, on the four corners of the ledge of the slaughter place, and on the posts of the gate of the inner courtyard. And do the same on the 7th of the month, of the new month, for anyone who makes a mistake or is foolish, and you shall make atonement for the house. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, you have the Pesach, a festival of 7 days, unleavened bread is eaten. And on that day the prince shall prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bull for a sin offering. And during the 7 days of the festival he prepares an ascending offering to YaHuWaH. 7 bulls and 7 rams, perfect ones, daily for 7 days, and a male goat daily for a sin offering. And he prepares a grain offering of 1 ephah for each bull, and 1 ephah for each ram, together with a hin of oil for each ephah. In the 7th month, on the 15th day of the new month, at the festival, he prepares like these 7 days, as the sin offering, as the ascending offering, as the grain offering, and as the oil. For sure, in the 7th month, he's talking about the feast of Sukkot. In the 15th day, 7th day plus the 8th great day of the feast. So what is interesting here, and I think I talk about during this beautiful video series about the death, burial, and resurrection of Mashiach, it's about what it's talking about here. In the first month, about bringing a young bull for sin offering to cleanse.
The set up her place.
Yes, and it was at the timing when YaHuWaH offered himself. And I don't remember the details, but I remember I was doing all these connections during that study. Maybe it's the time to revisit the study, even for myself. how YaHuWaH represented this young bull offering in order to bring cleansing, in order to bring forgiveness of sin to the people. So, and that happened, in the first month, in the first of the month. But not only that, it's also, we see all the symbolism of Pesach about sprinkling the blood in the doorpost of the house, in the four corner of the ledge. If you remember, that somehow is exactly what Israel had to do in the last plague in Egypt, when they were sacrificing the lamb and putting the blood in the doorposts and the lintel of the entrance of their houses in order to avoid death to get into their houses. So in order to be set apart.
Mira, sorry.
Miro?
I don't know, this is very strange, but when you were reading that, and it says the doorpost of the house and everything, but it says on the four corners of the ledge of the slaughter place, then I was thinking about when he was crucified. Somehow he was receiving some blood, or he was some wounds that were showing his blood in those four parts of his body. And when it says on the post of the gate of the inner courtyard, I remember about the spear that was going into his side. And we know that his side is next to the inner place, like the. So I don't know.
Beautiful. In the same line of what we were saying, when he's speaking about the Pesach here, and I think I took this passage into the context of what I was explaining in that video study about the death, burial, and resurrection of Mashiach. Because, in connection with Pesach, not only with the first month, with Pesach itself, it says in the verse 21 and 22, in the first month, on the 14th day of the month, you have the Pesach, a festival of 7 days, unleavened bread is eaten. And on that day, what day? In the day of Pesach, that's my understanding. On that day, the prince shall prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bull for a sin offering. A bull for a sin offering. And it is written that the blood of Mashiach is for the forgiveness of sin of Israel, and not only of Israel, for the entire world. Through his offering, his life and resurrection, YaHuWaH brought to peace what was broken before. So I see a beautiful connection here. And again, I remember I did more profound analysis of what I'm speaking now very briefly on that study, and maybe I'm going to repeat myself. It's worth enough to take a look in that part of the video when I'm talking about the offerings, what was the real offering of Mashiach in that video study of the death, burial, and resurrection of him. And the same thing is being repeated in Sukkot. That's the importance of the two, the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. The two feasts somehow connecting each other for all this process of the offering. For one reason, he is speaking about Pesach and Sukkot in this passage.
Good.
Anything else?
I'm always like trying to imagine what is the representation of the 7 bulls and the 7 rams, because always we have that kind of amount that is mentioned, and it was going to be always the same amount and every year. And when I was thinking about that, YaHuWaH, when he was here on earth, he was having the 12 disciples, the Talmidim, but from that amount, from the 12, he has, and I remember, I think that is in the story when he was encountering them after that he was resurrected in the seaside, when he was having some fishes, and then the apostle, the disciples, they came by him, and at the beginning they didn't recognize him. And I think that there were 7. So somehow, I don't know why I made this connection, that maybe somehow he was preparing them in a special way, and maybe they represent those seven. I don't know. But and since also said the seven rams, then I didn't have the time to do it, but I was going to do it, but I forget to do it. I wanted to see how many miracles they were recorded when he was giving the sight to the blind man, when he was helping this person who was paralyzed, and maybe there were also kind of seven miracles, I don't know, helping people, and somehow it's people like representing the rams. What is a ram is somehow is one that is being used, and he has horns, and somehow is kind of having issues. I don't know. It's an animal that is going to attack somehow, and you have to put in a protected place, so it's not going to attack to the rest of the people, things like that. So maybe it was also a kind of a representation of that. I'm not so sure, but I don't know why when I'm reading that I'm always thinking about that. I was what it could represent, those seven and those seven.
Okay, so before we move on, let me share this video that we saw with Lillian earlier today. I don't know if the audio is going to be good enough, but I believe that you are going to be able to listen anyways. So this is basically an interpretation of what is written about this portion of the land that we found in YouTube. Again, this is a way to understand. It could be differently, we don't know. And actually one of the things we were looking at it with Lillian, and this people have been taking this this concept recently about the greater Israel. And this is a kind of a mystery that we don't know how it's going to look like, and what they refer to the greater Israel, that what is understood as the piece of land of the country Israel today. The promise to Abraham is a bigger place, bigger piece of land that is going through, that is going between the Nile River in Egypt to the Euphrates in what is known Iraq today. So could it be that during the millennial kingdom of Mashiach, that's going to be the portion, the inheritance that YaHuWaH is going to give to Israel? And we don't know. And if that's the case, maybe the whole distribution of the land, as we will see in the chapter 48, together with what we saw of this special contribution of land to YaHuWaH, maybe it's going to be different. But anyways, those are part of the mysteries we will see with time. But let me share this with you, just for you to have a kind of a visual on how it could look like this set apart portion that we just read about it. So let me share this with you, and let me put play. So here we go.
The Lord, and holy portion of the land. The length shall be the length of 25,000 reeds, and the breadth shall be 10,000. This shall be holy, and all the borders thereof round about. Of this there shall be for the sanctuary 500 in length, with 500 in breadth, square round about, and 50 cubits round about for the suburbs thereof. And of this measure shalt thou measure the length of 25,000, and the breadth of 10,000, and in it shall be the sanctuary and the most holy place. The holy portion of the land shall be for the priests, the ministers of the sanctuary, which shall come near to minister unto the Lord, and it shall be a place for their houses, and an holy place for the sanctuary. And the 25,000 of length and the 10,000 of breadth shall also the Levites, the ministers of the house, have for themselves, for a possession 20-foot chambers. And ye shall appoint the possession of the city 5,000 broad, and 25,000 long, over against the oblation of the holy portion. It shall be for the whole house of Israel. And a portion shall be for the prince on the one side and on the other side of the oblation of the holy portion, and of the possession of the city, before the oblation of the holy portion, and before the possession of the city, from the west side westward, and from the east side eastward. And the length shall be over against one of the portions, from the west border unto the east border. In the land shall be his possession in Israel, and my princes shall no more oppress my people, and the rest of the land shall they give to the house of Israel, according to their tribes.
Good. Interesting.
So, it's just a visual how it could look like. We were taking some measurements with Lillian, and then the with an app to see what's the distance between the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. And it's interesting when we calculate the distance, it fit this description about the 25,000 rods. That's 25,000 rods multiplied by the 6 cubits. You will have the measurements. We measure in kilometers. That is our unit.
But it was just.
But it's just fitting the distance between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. So we don't know. That's why I was saying if the inheritance and the land is going to be a different geographical area, considering the promise to Abraham that is going to be from the Euphrates to the Nile, we don't know. But it's interesting to notice that about the fitting.
Maybe it's going to be the big earthquake. It's going to change everything. It's going to shrink it.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. So we will see. Just to complement with these visuals is much easier to follow. So let's go to the chapter 46.
Okay, my
All
turn.
yours.
Thus said the Master YaHuWaH, the gate of the inner courtyard facing east is shut the 6th day of work, but on the Shabbat, it is open, and on the day of the new month it is opened. And the prince shall enter by way of the port of that gate from the outside, and he shall stand by the post. And the priest shall prepare his ascending offering and his peace offerings, and he shall bow himself at the threshold of the gate, and shall go out, but the gate is not shut until evening. And the people of the land shall also bow themselves at the entrance to this gate before YaHuWaH on the Shabbats and on the new month. And the ascending offering which the prince brings to YaHuWaH on the Shabbat day is 6 lambs, perfect ones, and a ram, a perfect one. And the grain offering is 1 ephah for a ram, and the grain offering for the lambs, a gift of his hand, and a hin of oil for an ephah. And on the day of the new month, a young bull, a perfect one, 6 lambs and a ram, they should be perfect. And he prepares a grain offering of an ephah for a bull, and an ephah for a ram, and for the lambs as his hand attains, and a hin of oil for an ephah. And when the prince enters, he comes in by way of the porch of that gate, and goes out the same way. And when the people of the land enter before YaHuWaH at the appointed times, whoever shall enter by way of the north gate to bow himself goes out by way of the south gate, and whoever enters by the way of the south gate goes out by way of the north gate. He shall not return by way of the gate through which he came, but goes out through the opposite one.
You want to make some comments?
Well, about this last part.
Go ahead.
Well, the difference between how the prince is entering into the place that he can go in and go out for this from the same point. He's using the same gate, and that is the difference with the rest of the people. That if the rest of the people is going to use the north entrance, somehow he has to go out from to the opposite side. So it's never going to be in the same way. So I was comparing, like, when we are having maybe our Shabbats, and we are resting in YaHuWaH, and we are knowing Him and trying to knowing Him better, and be blessed by His love and His teachings. And I don't know, for me it was like we are never going to be at the same point when we started a Shabbat and how it's going to end. Somehow every Shabbat that we are going to spend with Him, we are going to be in a different place after that moment. So maybe we are going to be in a different scenario. Maybe our end of the day is going to be completely different. But everything that we have enjoyed that day is going to be something that is going to take us from one point of our journey to the opposite side. So I was thinking about it.
Good. So here the importance of the East Gate, and we were referring about this East Gate last week, but we see here how this East Gate is going to be opened for the Prince every Shabbat and every month, the first day of every new month, and those are special days. And it reminds me of what is written in the book of Zechariah, about that we are going to go to keep Shabbat after Shabbat. The nations, even in the nations that doesn't go, they are going to have some issues with rain, are going to receive this severe punishment from YaHuWaH for not being obedient to His instruction. Going to Shabbat after Shabbat, new month after new month, Chodesh after Chodesh. So we see here about the importance, and it's interesting that in Torah we don't see too much written in terms of the Chodesh, the new month, that we need to keep it as a kind of a celebration. But we see passages like this one. We see passages like the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, how they were mentioning about the first day, and also we see in the Dead Sea Scrolls. In the book of Yovelim about the importance of the first day of the month, and maybe there's something that needs to be restored, and how to keep it is something we need to allow the Ruach of Elohim to guide us. In one moment I haven't gone in depth into this study, but a thought came to my mind about could it be that the Chodesh, what was translated as new moon or new month, instead of happening in a monthly basis, was the head of every quarter. Those special days, and when we are changing after the 91 day, maybe that was the Chodesh. It's just a thought that came to my mind, but I never went into the details to understand this. But if it's every month, or if this thought that came to mind back then, there is something special happening in those moments. And we know that the feast of YaHuWaH, and we know that these special days that YaHuWaH is mentioning, as we were talking a minute ago about what could be the significance of the measurements, the significance of the offerings, and so on, the same thing is applicable to these specific days. What's the importance and the significance of these special moments? The Moedim, the feasts, and also the Shabbats, and also the new months. It's something special moments that YaHuWaH established in this beautiful harmony of the cycle of life He has established, that at the moment we get it, and at the moment we get into that rhythm, as you always say about the Shabbat, is something that is going to be open. It's like getting in tune with His rhythm and His melody, that as soon as we do it, maybe at the beginning we are not going to get it, we are going to get somehow weird about it, but as soon as we get into that rhythm, more revelation will come, and more things YaHuWaH will open into our spirits and minds and hearts to receive His wisdom and to understand what it's all about. So I think we should not disregard that much about the new months. It's part of the beautiful rhythm that YaHuWaH has established in this world, and is a gift. And maybe we are the missing part of this gift, but by no getting into the details about what YaHuWaH is seeking from each one of us. You know, I think at least to us, we have been neglecting somehow about the new months.
Yeah.
And
We tried to do it, but it was like a couple of times.
I saw a question here about this, how to celebrate it. We don't know, you know, it's the same thing that happened to us with Shabbat. At the beginning, we don't know how to keep Shabbat. And maybe we don't know how to keep Shabbat yet, but we're doing with the best of our abilities to serve YaHuWaH, to love Him by trying to do the best. And He is going to be the one guiding us on what to do. But we need to take the first step. By taking the first step is that we are humble and obedient to His word. And even though that I don't know nothing, I want to know something. So, and the way to know something is by being obedient and to take the first step, and to the rest is just to allow Him to guide us in everything. So maybe it's a reminder to the two of us and to all of us. Let's take a look into it. Maybe it's something that we need to consider. I saw that Karen she's blowing the shofar at the beginning of every month.
Beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing to do. And maybe if you don't have a shofar, it's just
Singing.
Yeah, sing or pray or just acknowledge that this is a special day. And let's keep praying to YaHuWaH to open more understanding to each one of us about the significance of all of this, because I do believe that maybe from a prophetic point of view, even this is going to be important. So let's keep more significance and more important to these kind of things. And I like the idea from what is that you don't have a shofar, just shout. Don't be surprised if your neighbors are somehow concerned about you shouting, but that doesn't mean anything.
YaHuWaH is coming.
Yes, or all the dogs start to bark because you are shouting, but never mind. Okay, here. And here is an Elohim of order. You know, you are coming from this place. Can you imagine what the disaster is going to be? You know, people entering and going out in the same way.
The flow of the people,
Yes.
Because if everybody was, okay, I'm going to use whatever place I want. No, you have to contribute to the natural flow.
Yes. It's like, you know, trying to talk while you are eating at the same time. It's impossible. Or trying to breathe from your mouth while speaking.
Yeah.
Impossible.
But there are some people who are making very strange noises when they're singing, and they're doing some I don't know how they do it.
It's an Elohim of order.
Yeah.
And this applicable to everything.
Yeah.
You know, just to take an example, you know, I have seen churches in my life where there's such a disorder. And again, when I take a look in the service, in the way that they are serving YaHuWaH in their meetings and so on, and here we see something different. It's something that, you know, full of peace, full of order. It's a flow. It's just like, you know, flowing with a rhythm that is inviting you to worship Him. It's inviting you to, you know, it's when you are getting into some season or some days or some places when maybe you are being stressed because of many things, and you are getting to those places or to those days that or meeting some people that immediately you feel that that pressure inside of you is going down, and you are getting started to flow with a different rhythm, more a natural rhythm. Actually, you know, in the place we are here, it's happening to us, and I was mentioning this last week, and we're still not cutting the grass, so I can I see, you know, the wind moving the grass from one place to the other. And, you know, every time that I'm looking into it, it's like, you know, getting into the rhythm of the grass, being moved by the wind, and it's bringing this peace of mind and this peace of spirit within that you cannot see it in any other place, not in the city. And that's the way that I see, this harmony, this flow, this order that YaHuWaH has established is something that is flowing with a rhythm that is bringing peace to the spirit, is bringing peace to the heart, is just to getting into that state of spirit that is going to allow us to connect even more in a deeper connection with the YaHuWaH and His presence and His Ruach. So every time that we see this noise, this chaos around us, we can be completely certain that YaHuWaH is not there. That there's something that they need to learn. Even, the other day, yesterday, we went to the town close by, and we were so in peace on this remote place that is in the countryside, that even though that this is a very small town, I was telling Lilian, there's something going on here, there's a chaos all over the place, the cars running and the people, I don't know. You cannot feel that peace. And the same thing when you're going into the city and when you go to places of worship, churches and so on, and you don't feel this rhythm and this presence is something that maybe they're doing it with all their hearts, but there's something that they need to learn. That YaHuWaH has this rhythm, this peace, and I just can imagine, just to put a different picture in your mind and in your heart, I just can imagine two examples. David, when he worked in the wilderness, serving YaHuWaH when he was a shepherd, being in that rhythm, or Yahushua when he was departing from the people and going to quiet places, is to get into this rhythm and this flow of the presence of YaHuWaH that is bringing peace to the heart, it's bringing peace to the spirit, and it's re-energizing us with the true rhythm of creation, with the frequencies of YaHuWaH. And today, in today's world, we are so, bombarded and so, involved externally by things that are putting pressure. And the craziness of the day to day, we are getting into this crazy rhythm that we are not detaching ourselves, following the example of Mashiach, looking into that balance, that place of quietness. And this is something we need to do it in a daily basis. If not, we are getting into the trap. How we are going to serve YaHuWaH if we are not looking into these moments and places of quietness, when we are detaching ourselves from the rhythm, the crazy rhythm of the world, and getting into this flow, orderly flow of the presence of YaHuWaH in order to reignite the fire on us, because we need to reignite that fire in order to go back to the craziness, to the cities, to those places, with the fire and the energy, fully with the batteries, fully in place and fully charged in order to serve YaHuWaH. If we don't do that, how we are going to be effective on serving YaHuWaH and the purposes of the kingdom if we are just all the time there, and not getting to the place of peace and the presence of YaHuWaH.
And the prince is to be in their midst, entering when they enter, and going out when they go out. And in the festivals and in the appointed times, the grain offering is an ephah for a bull, and an ephah for a ram, and for lambs the give of his hand, and a hin of oil for an ephah. And when the prince makes a spontaneous ascending offering or a spontaneous peace offering to YaHuWaH, the gate facing east, shall be opened for him. And he shall prepare his ascending offering and his peace offering as he did on the Shabbat day. And he shall go out, and after he goes out, the gate shall be shut.
Let me make a comment here. I think this is a beautiful example that YaHuWaH is putting for all of us. And we see in Torah, he is establishing the baseline. He's saying, okay, these are the instructions for you to serve me. These are the instructions for you to go into the right way. But he's given us free will that from that baseline onward or upward, we can serve him with all our hearts. With the only condition that, these voluntary offerings are going to be according to his commandments and according to his righteousness and according to his truth. We cannot be so creative or innovative to put things that are not are not good into before his eyes. But here is so beautiful is that he's not stopping us to move ahead and to do and to serve him with all our hearts. I just remember what David did when he brought the Ark of the Covenant to the city. He felt this beautiful feeling in his heart and his spirit, this need, this move of the Ruach of Elohim within himself to dance before the Ark. He was feeling that such a joy within himself that the only way for that joy to go out, he couldn't, and sometimes we are doing this, and especially myself, that nowadays when we're feeling something, we contain ourselves. We constrain that feeling. Oh no, I'm not gonna do it. But David had that possibility as well at that moment. But he allowed this feeling, there was a move of the Ruach of Elohim to flow freely through him. And the two of us, we have been talking about that for a while already, is that at the moment we allow this feeling that being produced by the Ruach of Elohim, and how we're going to be able to understand if this is a feeling from the Ruach, is the fruit of the Ruach HaKodesh. Shaul was speaking about that. If we have this joy inside of us that is being produced by nothing, it's just a spontaneous joy because, we're doing something that is right and is for the kingdom of Elohim. If we allow this to manifest in different aspects, in this case of David by dancing, what's going to happen? She's going to be contagious with that feeling. The people around are going to feel the same because that's going to be we serving as an instrument, allowing the Ruach HaKodesh to flow through us as a instrument, a musical instrument that is going to touch the heart of the people, and they are going to begin feeling exactly the same. And you know what's going to happen at the end? The full presence of YaHuWaH Elohim is going to descend among the people, and all of them are going to be in harmony. So, these spontaneous things are so beautiful because it's showing us the heart of the people. You remember, another example is that when Moshe was asking for the contribution of the people to build the tabernacle, he was saying, for everyone that is being so moved in their heart, bring a contribution. So it wasn't an obligation. It was the people that was being led to contribute, they were the one offering up. So I just can imagine the heart of those people that contributed when they saw the tabernacle established and lift up. the joy in their hearts that they were able to participate, to contribute to what they were able to see, the revelation, the amazing revelation of YaHuWaH in the top of Sinai, that he revealed this drawing and these amazing things to Moshe for them to have their established, and they were able to contribute, to participate. It's allowing the Ruach to work through us. So if you are feeling this move of the Ruach to do an spontaneous offering, it could be, a manifestation, of joy, of praying for somebody, to talk to somebody, just to laugh and to be, happy or content. Let's not put a stop to those things, because if by doing so, we are not allowing the Ruach of Elohim to do what he wants to do with us in that moment. How we are going to be able to do an spontaneous offering, or the prince is going to be able to make an spontaneous offering, because he's not stopping that joy and that manifestation in his heart. And that's an example for all of us in the way we need to act. We know that the prince is going to be Yahushua. It's talking about the future. And we are ought to walk according to how he walked, and in the way he walked is the way he will continue walking in the future, because he doesn't change. So let's imitate him. That when we feel the joy, let's allow that joy to run over, so other people are going to be impacted by that joy. And when we feel compassion, let's allow that compassion to run over, so other people are going to be touched by that compassion. And the same thing with all the manifestation of the Ruach of Elohim.
And make a daily sending offering to YaHuWaH of a lamb, a year old, a perfect one, preparing it morning by morning, and prepare a grain offering with it morning by morning, a sixth of an ephah and a third of a hin of oil to moisten the fine flour, a grain offering to YaHuWaH, continual everlasting laws. And prepare the lamb and the grain offering and the oil morning by morning, a continual ascending offering. Thus said the Master YaHuWaH, when the prince gives a gift of some of his inheritance. Should I stop there?
I don't know.
Well, maybe.
I have nothing to say, so you have
Oh,
something.
I was thinking about that, maybe that daily ascending offerings, maybe that is addressed to us, is how we have to deliver or offer our being, spiritually and physically speaking, in the hands of YaHuWaH, like being an instrument, and doing daily. Every day that we are opening our eyes, maybe through a prayer, to have when we are having those conversations with our Abba, and be there and maybe do that offering. Use me, and that I can maybe be like a grain offering, that something that you have given me maybe can be put in some other hearts, and that can also make a contribution to other people. And I think that it should be done in a very humble way, but always he's comparing the lamb, or we know that the lamb is kind of compared with a humble predisposition. Okay, that's it. And in the 17th, the 16th. Thus said the Master YaHuWaH, when the prince gives a gift of some of his inheritance to any of his sons, it belongs to his sons, and it is their possession by inheritance. And when he gives a gift of some of his inheritance to one of his servants, then it shall be his till the year of release. Then it shall return to the prince. Only the inheritance of his sons is theirs. And the prince does not take any of the people's inheritance by evicting them from their possession. He is to give his sons their inheritance from his own possession, so that none of my people are separated from his possession.
You made an interesting comment earlier, so maybe you should share
about
it.
the difference that being a servant, we can maybe receive something but we have to return it somehow after a period of time. So I remember that YaHuWaH was saying that we could be adopted as children also of the Elohim, that we are co-heirs in the covenant. So what is the importance that maybe we are starting as servants, but we want to have and to receive that blessing of being called and recognized as children of Elohim. And that only can be made when we are going to be ahead with him, when we are going to follow his instruction, and when we are going to live according to his ways, because he wants us to live according to his ways. His rules that he set up for his house, we must to follow, and not only because of we have an interest on that, is because we want to be really part of his family. You were looking for something?
Yeah, I was looking for the same in the place, but we can continue. I think YaHuWaH referred that we are not more servants, we are sons, we're children.
Yeah.
He called us friends. Yeah.
And he brought me through the entrance, which was at the side of the gate, into the set-apart rooms of the priests facing north. And look, there was a place at the extreme rear toward the west. And he said to me, "This is the place where the priests cook the guilt offering and the sin offering, where they bake the grain offering so as not to bring them out into the outer courtyard to set the people apart." And he brought me out into the outer courtyard and made me pass along to the four corners of the courtyard. And look, in every corner of the courtyard was another courtyard. In the four corners of the courtyard were courtyards covered over, 40 cubits long and 30 wide. These four corners having one measure, and a row of building stones all around in them, all around the four of them, and places for fire were made under the rows, all around. And he said to me, "These are the kitchens where the attendants of the house cook the slaughterings of the people."
Good.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe you can say something about that, because I know that it's interesting that there are going to be places that are going to be dedicated somehow for the preparation of the meals. So, but I don't know if you have maybe some idea, maybe some insight that you can share with us.
It's the same thing when we were looking into the revelation of the temple. He was looking and showing and revealing Ezekiel different places where the different tasks were done by the priests.
This is the kitchen.
Yeah, and again, as we discussed about the measurements, about the different type of offerings, most probably there is a more profound meaning. The word of YaHuWaH and the revelation is not just because he's revealing because of something. There is a specific purpose.
Yeah.
For each one of the revelation. But you know what for me is amazing is that, and we mentioned this a few weeks ago, is how such a blessing that Ezekiel received to get this revelation about the temple, the revelation about how the land is going to be divided, the revelation about the service, is with the purpose of YaHuWaH to restore all things properly. And the only fact that Ezekiel was being called all over the book Son of Man, Ben Adam, and Mashiach later on was called Ben Adam, it's like the purpose for the two of them was the same, is to bring the revelation, the true revelation of the desire of the heart of YaHuWaH to the people. And at the same time is the restoration of the true worship to the maker of the heaven and the earth, YaHuWaH, El Shaddai, our Elohim. So even though that we have these pieces that we don't know yet in details, we know and we can be certain that most probably this has a more profound meaning, that with time YaHuWaH will open our understanding for those things, and we are going to say, wow, how come I wasn't able to see this? And it's so beautiful. And when those times are coming, it's so beautiful because we feel this this excitement inside of us that, wow, I found something new. And then you know what I'm talking about. Every time that we see something that we have not seen before, we have this, these little kids that we have inside of each one of us. This phase of excitement. Wow, I fully understand this, and I haven't seen this before. I'm expecting that maybe that's going to happen in the future when we fully understand these kind of things, and maybe. Why not to dream about this? And maybe it's not a dream. Maybe it's going to be the reality. Is that the one that is going to reveal these profound meanings is going to be Yahushua speaking to us face to face. That's going to be a double, triple, or quadruple blessing to all of us that we are receiving the revelation directly from our Master. So good. We will continue next week. I think most probably, if that's the will of YaHuWaH, we will finish this book of Ezekiel next week. It's chapter 47 and 48. It's been an amazing journey so far. And I'm not going to get tired to say this, is that what a timing to be reading these books of Revelations, considering everything that's going on in the world. I think YaHuWaH had a purpose for this to happen. So we need to have our ears, our eyes, our understanding open to receive anything and everything He has prepared for each one of us, even though sometimes we are not able to understand everything, but we need to take all those little things that He's giving us, this insight, those pieces of the puzzle that is helping us in order to understand the times we are living and the purpose, the desires of the heart of YaHuWaH for each one of us in these times. So I want to thank each one of you, 31 of you connected today, for joining us today, for your prayers, for your continued support, for your love, especially for your love for us, and keep praying for one another. So we are protected from the times we are living. We are protected from the evil one, and most importantly, that we are being used in a mighty way by the hand of YaHuWaH in order to serve Him with all our hearts and with all our time and with all the strength in our beings. Having said that, any final words?
That give thanks to YaHuWaH, because He was the one, helping us with this portion, like He always is doing it, because it's amazing how He is putting things in our hearts, and that He wants us maybe to discuss, to learn. And I think that we have to apply that for every moment, that maybe we're going to face some difficult moments in our life when we're going to think, what I'm going to do, I don't know. We are going to feel petrified, but He's going to give us always His help by His Ruach, and He's going to take our hands so we can continue. And that's the best thing that I can say today. Thank you, Abba, because He's amazing.
Yeah, I was having an umbrella here just in case she was sneezing, but
but nothing happened.
Wasn't need to do it. Okay, thank you so much. YaHuWaH be with you all. Shabbat Shalom, and
Shabbat
hope to see you
Shalom.
next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
כל עובר ליבנו באימה, רואים שלא שכחת את עמך, רואים שלא הרפאת מלהגן, ודרכנו יום יום מכוון, אפילו שדחינו את בנך, ולא שמענו לכל קריאתך, אפילו שעברו אלפי שנה, סומכים אנחנו על הבטחתך, כי עוד לא אבדה תקווה לראות את ארצך בוערת בתשוקה, קוראת ברוך הבא, לראות מסווה מוסר ואת עמנו משוחרר, ומהשערים פתוחים לבואך, לא תחזיק לאדמך, כי רצונך הוא להושיע את עמך, ולהראות את חסדך, ולהגיד את המילה האחרונה, שוב תאחד ושוב תכבוש ידוע כבר מההתחלה. שכחת את עמך, רואים שלא הרפאת מלהגן, בדרכנו יום יום מכוון. אפילו שדחינו את פינך ולא שמענו לכל קריאתך, אפילו שעברו אלפי שנה, סומכים אנחנו על הבטחתך. כי עוד לא עבדה תקווה לראות את ארצך בוערת בתשוקה, קוראת ברוך הבא לראות מס ומוסר, את עמנו משוחרר ומהשערים פתוחים.